to another video. So today I am actually going to be doing my January wrap-up, which shouldn't be too long considering most of the books that I read in January were part of the Throne of Glass series. I read books 2 through 5 in the Throne of Glass series, plus the prequel novellas Assassin's Blade. So I have a series review on the whole Throne of Glass series. I have a non-spoiler review and a spoiler review that I will leave linked down below so you guys can watch if you want. I know those two videos are kind of long, especially the spoiler review because I had a lot to say, but I tried to shorten it down as much as I could. So, but other than the Throne of Glass series, I did get a chance to read one other book in January, and that is Pretty Little Liars by Sarah Shepard. And I will put a picture of it right up here because I do not have the physical book to show you guys. I have this book as an ebook format, and I also listen to it on Audible. So I will put a picture of it right up here. But basically for the month of January, this was my TBR challenge. So for my TBR challenge for January, what I pulled out of my jar was read a book that became a TV show. And so I went with Pretty Little Liars. There were several books that I could have gone with, and I talked about that in my January TBR video. But there were a couple different books I could have gone with, but I chose Pretty Little Liars because, for one, I already had the ebook, and another thing, this is a series that's pretty long. There's like, I don't know, 14, 15 books in the series. I don't know how many. But I don't plan on continuing with the series. I don't plan on reading all the books. So pretty much I'm stopping with book 1. So I'm okay with just reading the first one. And that's kind of why I chose this book, because all the other TV TV series that I was thinking of, I would want to marathon through the whole series, and those are pretty big books like Game of Thrones and Outlander, and yeah, those are huge books, and I'm not quite ready to marathon through those yet. But like I said, since I'm not going to continue with Pretty Little Lies, I figured I'd just read the first one and it would count for this challenge. So, pretty much my thoughts on the book. It was a lot like the first episode of the show, which I've watched the show since it first aired on TV. I've been watching the show, and I'm all caught up to where we are now on the show. I am ready for the show to end because it's getting ridiculous, but that's a separate topic. Anyway, so I'm caught up on the show, and I will say the first book is a lot like the first episode of the pilot episode of the show. And it even ends, the book ends in the same exact place that the TV show ends. So, or the first episode of the show ends the same exact place as the book. So, I already knew a lot of what was going to happen going into this, because like I said, it's a lot, the first book is a lot like the first episode in the show, and so they do keep a lot of stuff from the book to the show, especially plot wise. The plot of the first book is basically the same as the first episode in the show. Obviously, I know, even though I haven't read the other books, but I've kind of like read summaries of what happens in the book series. So I know that the show eventually deviates from the books. But as far as the first book goes and the first episode goes, they're a lot this. They're pretty much very similar. They keep the same plot. They keep a lot of the same stuff. They do, however, they still do change a lot in the show as well. They do make a lot of changes in terms of, especially in terms of characters and how the characters are portrayed. And I will say that I do like some of the changes that they made in the show. I do prefer the changes they made, and I think this is part of the reason why I prefer the show over the book. Now, I don't say that many times. It's not many times where I prefer a show adaptation or movie adaptation over the original book. There's only been like a couple times that has ever happened, and this is one of those times. I just prefer the show. And one of the reasons why is the changes that they make with the characters and their personalities. For one, I feel like the girls on the show are a lot more mature than the girls in the book. Especially Arya. Reading the book, there was one scene between Arya and Ezra that I was just like, really? Really, Arya? It was just such immaturity on her part. And I was like, that would never have happened in the show. And I think that's one of the changes that I like that they made is, the girls on the show are more mature, even though they're still sophomores in high school, just like in the book, they're sophomores in high school. But there's more of a maturity level with them in the show. The other thing about the characters that I like in the show versus the book are, the families, the Spencer's family, her parents, and also Emily's mom. So I'll start with Spencer. And Spencer's family in the book, I could not stand them. I seriously hated them so much. And in the show, her parents are pretty, like, kind of detached and distant. They're not, like, all lovey-dovey type of family. But at the same time, it's not like, I don't hate her parents or her sister on this show. I kind of understand their characters, and I'm okay. I don't love them. I don't particularly love her family, but I don't hate them on the show. And, to me, they're just kind of okay. Whereas in the books, there's one scene, but I'm not going to go into spoilers, but I'll just say there's one scene between Spencer and her family that just pissed me off so much. And I hated her parents and her sister so much, and that has never happened on the show. So that was something that I wasn't really expecting, as well as with Emily's mom. I wasn't expecting to not like her either, because I actually like Emily's mom on the show. I think her mom is really sweet, really nice, and I like her on the show. But in the book, she is racist, and I was just not expecting that from her mom, and I just did not like her mom at all in the book. So these are some of the things that, they kind of changed from the book to the show, especially, like I said, in terms of character, personalities, and development. I really preferred the changes, which is why I prefer, one of the main reasons I preferred the show to the book. Other than that, there's not much more I can say about this book, really. I would say it's an okay read overall. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It is pretty quick. I read it in a day. So, or listen and read it in a day. So it goes by pretty quick, pretty fast. So overall, it's not great, but it's not terrible either. Definitely could have been some improvements. So I would say overall 3 out of 5 stars. I will say that I might have enjoyed it a little more if I hadn't already seen the show and I didn't know what was gonna happen. Like I said, because I've been watching the show from the beginning, and the first episode is a lot like the first book in terms of plot-wise and what happens. I already knew, what was gonna happen, and so I think that's what kind of, especially because this is supposed to be a mystery series, mystery genre, and so I think I would have enjoyed it more if I hadn't seen the show going into it and I didn't know what was gonna happen, because the mystery aspect is pretty cool, because you're trying to figure out, who is this A person? How do they know everything about these girls? Is it really Allison? But wait, she's supposed to be dead. Like, who is this person? So, I think if I didn't know going into the book what was going to happen, I might have enjoyed it a bit more, but we'll never know. So that's pretty much it, you guys. That's my review. So that's it for my January wrap-up video, you guys. Leave me a comment down below if you've read Pretty Little Liars, or if you've just seen the show, kind of what your thoughts on it are. And I will see you guys soon with another video. Bye.